va a hablar sobre the importance of extracurricular activities in U.S. applications. Thank you very much, Erin, and welcome.
Thank you so much, Luis, and thank you for sharing this excellent information with potential students in Mexico. I agree with everything that you just said. It was excellent advice. So thank you for doing such great work. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for attending today. My name is Erin Bastine. I'm the Assistant Director of International Admissions at the University of Delaware. For those of you who don't know about Delaware, Delaware is a very small state on the East Coast of the United States, right between New York City and Washington, D.C. If you have questions understanding me today, I can certainly deliver this presentation in Spanish. Please feel free to write your questions in the chat in Spanish or in English, and I'll do my best to answer those either as I go or at the end. So I want to talk to you today about part of the application for a university. Okay, so University of Delaware, where I'm from, is a 4-year university that offers bachelor's degrees. Okay, we also offer master's and doctorates. So in addition to the 4 common things that Luis said we need to include on our application, one important part of the application is where you actually tell us about yourself. Okay, so when you come to the United States and you attend a university, part of the American education system is that we are not only educating you to learn about one job, okay? Instead, we're educating you as a whole individual, an entire human being. So what you do inside the class and what you do outside of class, socially, personally, professionally, these are almost equally as important. So we need to learn what kind of person, what kind of human being you are, what your interests are, so that we can understand whether or not you're going to be a good fit on our campus community. Next slide, please. So today I'm going to go through a couple of sections. I'm going to give you sort of background on why we ask about your extracurricular activities, why it's not all about your grades. And then I'm going to tell you sort of what types of things we offer on our campus. And typically, 4-year universities in the US offer on campus, and help you connect some of the things that you might do in your life now to activities that are offered on campus. Next slide, please. So the perspective of an admission person like me, when I am reading students' application, I need to make sure that this student is going to be successful on campus. And like I said, it's not only a matter of being academically successful, it's also a matter of being happy, healthy, socially connected, and adding something to our campus community. So I think of it as an involved student is more connected to campus, more successful academically, and more satisfied with their campus experience. So we want to make sure that you're already involved in activities outside of class in your high school life, so that you likely will be when you get to university. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. All right. So as I mentioned before, the purpose of a U.S. education and the reason why students from all over the world choose to come to the U.S. is because we offer a holistic education. The purpose of a U.S. education is not just to train you for a specific job. Instead, our education is designed to help you strengthen your analytical skills, help you with problem solving, help you become a team player and work with others, help you become an effective communicator, become an independent thinker, and then in general, help you learn about the world around you and provide you with the tools that are going to help you navigate these personal and professional roles that you will fill after you graduate. Next slide, please. So the activities that you do outside of class now help us understand how you're going to take initiative to reach these more broad education goals and how you're going to contribute to our campus community. So on your extracurricular section of your application, it's going to say something like activities and awards. You're going to show us how your current activities and skills are going to transfer to your new university environment. Next slide, please. So here's what a typical week looks like in a university, okay? So it's a little bit different than what you guys are used to. In the university, you're actually only in class for about 15 or 16 hours a week. Outside of class, you're gonna spend 2, maybe 3 hours studying or doing homework for each hour that you're in class. So that's about 48 hours that you're gonna spend each week on studying, okay? This is what's recommended, not necessarily what everybody does. And then you've got, 56 hours a week to sleep. And then you have almost 40 hours to decide how you're gonna spend your time and how you're gonna maximize your time, this valuable time that you have on a university campus, okay? So the university provides so many different activities for you guys to join: clubs, sports, volunteer work, networking, career preparation. So you're gonna need to not find things to do, you're gonna actually have to decide what you can't do because you don't have enough time. Next slide, please. All right, so let's take a look at some of the activities that are typically offered on campus and some activities that are related to them that you might be doing right now or that you have done. Next slide. Next slide, please. Well, I think we may have a little lag here on the presentation. So I'm going to start with couple general activities. Okay, there we go. So the first thing that we're going to want to know is, well, how can we think about things that you've done outside of class? Like maybe some clubs that you've gone to, or sleepaway camps that you have done. You can put those on your application. Let's say summer camp or something like that, because we're going to be able to see, all right, this student is mature enough to be okay outside of their parents' home. We can see that maybe you've lived with a group of students for a period of time. Maybe you have participated in, been a camp counselor or something like that. That is good practice or experience for possibly having a job on campus, like a resident assistant. So if you have participated in, a week-long summer camp, or if you've done any sort of academic summer programs, make sure that you put those on your application. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. I think I'm just gonna go on and talk because I think we're having a problem with our presentation. There we go. Have you ever joined a club? What was your role in that club? So if you go to a school that offers, book club, or if you do some sort of newsletter or journalism, let's say you are part of a professional club, for example, or you've created an invention, you can certainly mention those things, because some of the clubs that are offered on campus, my goodness, there's a little bit of everything. So for example, at the University of Delaware, we have over 400 different clubs and student organizations. They can be major specific. They can be about outdoor activities, music, culture, religion, all different types of clubs. Let's say, for example, you have done community service or some volunteer work. Make sure you include that, okay? We really want to see the types of activities that you're getting involved in so that we can understand if our college is a right fit for you. Okay, next slide, please. Oh, goodness. Now we've lost the presentation completely.
Sorry, Erin.
It's okay.
I think we're having some technical difficulties.
Yeah. That's fine. I'm just about finished. So I'll just continue. I think the next slide is about sports. So many of you might participate in a soccer team or some kind of youth athletics. Make sure you put not only that you played on that team or that you participated in tournaments, but maybe you were the captain of your team. Include that, okay? We like to see leadership opportunities, because sports are a really big thing in US universities. So we wanna make sure that, we wanna see if you are involved in any sports so that you can get involved on our sports on campus. All right, next slide. Let's see if it works. Okay, maybe it's not gonna work, but I believe my last slide is about seeking help when you need academic help. So one thing that students might not realize is that we actually like to see when students are seeking help or looking for opportunities to learn more about a specific subject. So we find students who seek help on campus, if they need help in their classes, are more successful than those who don't, okay? So we wanna see if you're doing any sort of extra tutoring, if you're staying after class with a teacher to get extra help, if you are doing sort of any sort of academic support activity, like even participating in Education USA advising, okay? So that's something that you can actually put on there, because it shows us that you seek using resources when you're in need, okay? So that's a good skill. So I hope this helps you today sort of gain an understanding of types of activities that you can list on your extracurricular activities section of your application, and sort of why we are asking for that information. Next slide, please. So again, the idea of your application essay is showing us how you have spent your time and why you are a good fit for our university. Okay, good. I'm glad this slide came up because I forgot. Guys, if you have any work experience, make sure you're putting that down. It doesn't only have to be paid work. It can also be unpaid work. Let's say, for example, your job is to come home and take care of your little brothers and sisters while your parents are at work. I love when students put that on their application because it shows me a sense of responsibility. It shows me that they can maintain good grades and have responsibilities at the same time. And then, you know, any paid work, obviously, that you have done. So again, these are all ideas of what you can put in that section. All right, next slide, please. All right, so at this point, I'd be really happy to answer any questions about the information that I've gone over in general, or information about University of Delaware. And Luis is back to answer questions about the content that he presented on.
No sé si tengan preguntas o para mí o para Erin. En este caso, aquí está el contacto de Erin Bastian. Tiene una maestría, es Assistant Director of International Admissions, Office of Undergraduate Admissions, y su correo es udel.edu admissions, evas@udel.edu. Entonces, con mucho gusto, ella les puede contestar si tuvieran alguna pregunta en específico sobre la universidad y sobre el proceso. Sí, Ana.
Okay.
No sé si tengamos algunas preguntas.
Yes, we do have one for Erin. What kind of extracurricular activities can we include if we are in lockdown? Are the schools taking that into account?
Yes, absolutely. So we know that this past year has been really different for everybody around the world. And we know that opportunities for sports, for work, for really anything have been quite limited. So you can include activities that you did previously before lockdown. Also include any virtual activities that you have done, such as attending Education USA webinars, or anything of that sort. But certainly you can feel free to write a note in the additional information section. Typically in all applications for universities, the Common App Coalition, they have a section actually where it says, is there anything else that you want to tell us? This will be a good thing to include. Like, because of lockdown, I was not able to continue my volunteer position at X, Y, and Z. Okay, so keep in mind that people who are reading your application are people. And we lived through this lockdown too, so we know it's been tough. Just be honest, okay? Be detailed, and tell us anything you think we need to know, including that you couldn't do that because of lockdown. That's a good question.
Yes, and also they are wondering about like the length of this activity, if you are taking that into consideration.
Do you mean how many activities are included?
No, but like for how long they did that activity.
Oh, I see. I guess it depends on the activity itself. Mm-hmm. You know, we don't want to see that you went to a month-long summer program and then left after 2 days. So that wouldn't be good. But yeah, I would say sort of continuity of, certain interests are good. So for example, my son, he's doing karate. So I think it's good to show that he has made it to a certain belt, right? That shows a commitment and of a certain activity. So it sort of depends on what it might be. If it's a summer job, it's a summer job, you can't continue it when you go back to school. We get it.
Okay, thank you very much. And Luis, para ti preguntan, ¿tú qué consideras si es más fácil que los acepten por medio de las plataformas como Common App y esas plataformas o directamente enviando su solicitud a la universidad?
Muy bien. Muy buena pregunta. Ahí lo que tienen que ver, porque me sucedió con un chico que la beca que estaban ofreciendo esta universidad en particular, pedían que se llenara la aplicación directamente con la universidad, porque si la mandaban como el Common App, como que sí les llegaba, pero no la tomaban en consideración para la beca. Entonces tienen que ver esta parte, si es que es mejor llenarla a través de la uni o llenarla a través del Common App. Lo bueno del Common App es que de una vez pueden hacer varias universidades, pero si es directamente, sí tienen que ir una por una, ¿no? Y básicamente es la misma información. Entonces sí tienen que ver cuál es la mejor opción para ustedes y cómo es que toman en consideración mejor su solicitud. Entonces sí es importante. ¿Cuál de las dos? Pues todo depende.
Y por último, ¿cómo puedo hacer la traducción oficial a inglés de mis documentos?
Eso lo pueden ver a través de un perito traductor. Ustedes, si no conocen de un perito traductor, lo que les recomiendo es que se acerquen a un advisor de Education USA y normalmente tenemos un listado de los peritos traductores que están en el estado o cerca de, o darles otras opciones. Entonces, eso debe de ser. Hay algunas universidades que aceptan la traducción directa de su prepa, pero son muy pocas las que hacen eso. Entonces sí tienen que ver cómo es que aceptan la traducción. Si lo piden oficial, entonces sí tienen que ir con un perito y por eso les pido que se acerquen con su advisor más cercano para que les pueda dar el listado de los peritos que están en el estado.
Gracias, Luis. And for airing, someone in Facebook is asking if they need to prove these activities. For example, if he took care of his siblings, if you are going to ask for any type of proof that they did that.
No, you're going to sign your application saying that everything that you have added to the application is honest and true. You don't need to prove anything. Some students decide to add certificates as a supplement, an additional optional supplement to their application. You can certainly do that if you have certificates you want to include, but no, we take your word as what you've written is honest.
Thank you. And let me see. From Facebook as well, if I do not have any extracurricular activities, can I still apply or get a scholarship?
Yes, absolutely. Different universities hold different importances to extracurricular activities. The University of Delaware, so I'm one of the people that read the applications, right? I understand that extracurricular activities around the world, there aren't as many opportunities, and especially not in lockdown. Okay. So for example, students in China spend 16 hours per day in school. It's really hard for them to have extracurriculars. I can't hold it against them. It's not their fault. So if you don't have any, I think you probably do, if you really think deeply about it. But if you don't have any, I still encourage you to apply, okay? Especially if you're applying to a community college, okay? That's not going to be as important for them. So yeah, still apply. And yes, you can still get scholarships, okay? Because again, different opportunities exist for different students, and we take that all into account.
Thank you very much, Erin. Luis, son todas las preguntas.
Muchas gracias, Ana, por las preguntas. Well, Erin, I think that if we don't have any more questions, thank you very much. But like I said at the beginning, I had a little detail about Erin. And because of the importance of being an international student. In this case, Erin traveled from the United States to Mexico. But guess what state? The best state, of course, of Mexico. She arrived to. So it was Tlaxcala, where she was here for approximately 6 months. And from what I was able to talk to her about this visit, it made a very big impact in her life. So is it important to travel or to become an international student? Yes. It doesn't just open. Sorry, now I'm going to switch to Spanish. I just noticed I was speaking in English. Perdón. Les estaba yo comentando que por qué es importante ser un alumno o estudiante internacional. En el caso de Erin, ella viajó, fue lo inverso. Ella vino de Estados Unidos a México. ¿Y a qué estado creen que vino? Vino a Tlaxcala. Aproximadamente estuvo aquí en Tlaxcala por 6 meses y por lo que yo platiqué con ella, fue algo que le impactó a su vida de muchas maneras. Entonces, si les abre ventanas o puertas, ir a estudiar a otro lugar, sí. Y también convivir con las personas, y por eso es importante también esta parte de las actividades extracurriculares. No solamente para la solicitud, pero sino para que sean ustedes alumnos completos y no solamente alumnos de calificación, sino alumnos completos y que cuando regresen puedan también platicar de esta parte de las actividades extracurriculares. Entonces, nada más quería yo terminar con ese último comentario. Muchas gracias, Erin. Muchas gracias a todo el equipo de advisors. Yo vi una pregunta en el chat y nada más me gustaría terminar con contestarlo. Si es necesario conseguir un consejero, no es necesario para hacer estos procesos, pero sí es recomendable para que sepan bien y también se aseguren que a la universidad que ustedes están solicitando sea una universidad acreditada y también que sea la mejor opción para ustedes. Y también los invito a nuestros próximos eventos de Education USA. Por favor, acérquense con las páginas de redes sociales, tanto de Education USA MEX Events o de las páginas de todos los estados. Tenemos aquí en México 26 centros y cada semana, cada mes tenemos diferentes actividades y se invitan a diferentes universidades. Entonces los invitamos a que sean participantes en estas actividades. Bueno, ya he terminado. Les agradezco a todos. Thank you very much again, Erin. And,
Gracias a ustedes.
Muy bien, muy bien. Sí me dijo que hablaba español, pero bueno, aquí ya están todas las redes que tenemos. Nos pueden escribir a México, mexico@educationusa.org, o también pueden buscarnos en Facebook como Education USA México, Education USA MX en Twitter, en Instagram como Education USA MX, y tenemos un WordPress donde pueden buscar información regional específicamente de México. Allí hablan sobre exámenes estandarizados, sobre los diferentes recursos que tenemos y también las diferentes becas que están disponibles para mexicanos. Entonces, por favor, acérquense y no pierdan esta oportunidad. Que tengan un muy buen día y muchas gracias por participar a todos. Y también, antes que se me olvide,